This is Naples. That is the active volcano that is Mount Vesuvius that overlooks one of the most famous racetracks in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching us live all around the world for this round 3 of the WSK Supermaster Series for 2023. 47 nations are represented here, 271 drivers from all around the world, notwithstanding these punitive travel restrictions that persist as the wise in the West continue to come up with new ways to lock us in our own homes. But nevertheless, winter is over, the sun is shining, and we are ready to race. Round 3 of the WSK Supermaster Series, 4 finals this afternoon, starting with OK. The karts are on the grid. Andrea Kimi Antonelli will start on pole position for the final. It has not been an easy journey for the Italian. Let's check out the highlights thus far this week of OK here at Sarno. Lindblad 204, who won at Le Concours, took pole position in time qualifying the Red Bull Junior in red hot form until this morning when he was taken out in the pre-final and will not start the final. 201 at Andrea Kimi Antonelli, the former WSK Supermaster Series champion, certainly will start. He's on pole position alongside the boy from Brazil, 202, Rafa Camara. Ugo 203, recently signed during the week with McLaren management, also came to grief in the pre-final, and the driver from New York, USA, will not line up in the final. Andrei Zhivnov also coming to grief. He's out of the final here this afternoon after being in spectacular form all through the week. It's an all-new Sarno circuit. The track has been redesigned and rebuilt since we visited for the WSK Euro Series in July of 2020. It is still as fast as ever. Anybody could take the victory here this afternoon. Well, Andre, who just flashed by on your screen, he can't because he's out. Sarno, an average speed of 100 kilometers an hour. Beneath this, yes, that volcano is still active. It is Mount Vesuvius, towering 1.2 kilometers above sea level here in Naples, in the beautiful south of Italy. We're just a few moments away from the start of the final here this afternoon. Rafa Camara, we got a glimpse of the 202 Kart Republic for the Oak Racing team. He is the series leader, 225 points from Arvid Lindblad to 145, but the Londoner is out after coming to grief on the second corner of the final, or the pre-final, earlier this morning. Kart Republics on the front row of the grid. Tony Karts on the second row. We will take a look at all 34 karts in just a moment as the 3-minute board goes up. Antonelli, who won the WSK Supermaster Series in 2019, that was in OK Junior. What a spectacular sight this is. Yes, that volcano is still active. In 1944, as if World War II wasn't enough for the people of Naples to contend with. Well, the volcano erupted for the last time as you look at Andrea Kimi Antonelli, 201 on pole position, Il Bolognese, the boy from the city that brought us the Lamborghini supercar. To the left of your screen, as ever, working with his mechanic Pablo Dominguez. And next to him, Rafa Camara, 202. Menino do Brasil, the boy from Brazil, the series leader for the Oak Racing team, 202. As the grid girls still leave the grid, what a spectacular sight that is in itself. As you look at Nikola Zoloff in the foreground, Artem Severukian in the background. How does Formula One still persist with no grid girls? Really? They haven't come to their senses yet. Here in Napoli, we've got the most beautiful grid girls in the world. They've left the circuit and we're just a few moments away from the start of this, the first final this afternoon. 17 laps. Antonelli to the left of your screen. Pomada to the right. Kart Republic's on the front row. Tony Kart's on the second row. Just repeating, Lindblad out of the pre-final this morning and does not start the final this afternoon. 271 drivers, 47 nations represented here. The third round of the WSK Supermaster Series for 2021. We wait for the green flag, which now flies. And the 125cc OK Karts are pushed into life. We'll take a look at the grid for you. Andrea Kimi Antonelli leads the field away. He starts on pole position. Rafa Kamara out of 2. Second row of the grid, it's the Russian for Ward Racing, Artem Severukin and Tuka Tapanen. Karol Pashevic, Emo Fittipaldi on the third row. Then it's Timek Kuharczyk in the Kubica Kart and Nikola Zolov for DPK. Mart starts out of grid 9, Stensone alongside Lucas Malek, the Slovakian for DPK Racing. Rafa Modanese, welcome back to the Peruvian. The fastest qualifier in his group on Friday after missing La Conca. He's alongside Christian Ho, Nicolas Bertilati, Il Siciliano, Alfio Spina, Igor Shepel, Marcus Kayak, Ricardo Gracia, Joseph Turney back in 18th after, let's just say, a tumultuous pre-final this morning. Victoria Blokina is alongside Iribet Chichka, Ivan Dominguez, Ruben Moya, Luca Griggs, Bruno Del Pino, Luca Lystra, Arthur Rojan, Christian Bertuca, Morgan Porter, Frederick Lund, Luigi Carluccio, Danny Caronini, Nicola Krummen, Caspian Hagman, and Brando Badoer, the king of the one-lap qualifier. He is so quick. He has to come, though, from a grid 34, the second-generation racer. So the track is all new. It has been redesigned and rebuilt. Whilst most of us were locked in our own homes in these bizarre lockdowns which painfully persist all around the world for I don't know what reason. Let's not get into that. The team here at Napoli, Circuito Internazionale Napoli, they rebuilt and redesigned the circuit. It is still as fast as ever, an average speed of 100 kilometers an hour, 17 laps, just over 26 kilometers, the minimum distance, 25 kilometers. Round 3, the Supermaster Series. Welcome to Napoli. Welcome to Circuito Internazionale Napoli, simply known as Sarno. For the first time this afternoon, we race down into turn 1. No mistake from Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Severukian in second spot. Fabulous start. Looks to be Karol Pashevic, who's gone straight up into third place for the Kiddix Driver Academy. Timek Kuharczyk right behind him. A clean start as they race down the old back straight for the first time here this afternoon. There is Timek ahead of the first of the Lennox Racing Leclerc karts. That's Mart. Stensone has made a great start. Unfortunately, Victoria Blokina, the 14-year-old from Moscow, Russia, after being in superb form, has come to grief, and she's out on the opening lap of the final, as is Brando. Brando also has retired off screen, and the Italian gets 0 points here this afternoon. Antonelli leads them across the line from Severukin, Pashevic, and Kuharczyk to poles, run 3 and 4. Mart behind, then it's Tuka Tapanen. Rafa Kamara, not the best start from grid 2. He's back in 7th place, the series leader. Ahead of Lucas Malek, Emo Fittipaldi, Rafa Modanese, and the Bulgarian Lion in the background. Nikola Zolov as Karol Pashevic now gets the run on Artem Severukin, who was slow coming onto the back straight. Pashevic saw it, he knew it, and the 2 poles go by the Russian. He's Mart in the background. Martinia Stensone for the Charles Leclerc Lennox Racing Team, also trying to capitalize on Artem Severukin as Timek goes down the inside. He's now the top pole. The Robert Kubica kart, 224 on your screen, up into 2nd place. Fabulous start to the OK final here this afternoon. Antonelli with 0.8 of a second over the 2 Polish drivers. Timek from Karol. Then we go back to Artem Severukin, who's still being hounded by Martinia Stensone, the top Tony kart for the factory team is Tuukka Tappinen. We're looking further back in the field. It's Joseph Turney ahead of his countryman Luca Griggs. But JT from MK in the UK is down in 17th place as Carroll retakes second place here this afternoon. Antonelli is pulling away. The two Poles fight again, different teams, same country, and the Russian Severukian says enough of this, boys, and Artem simply drives by the both of them. Tuukka down the inside also takes the place. Up the inside goes Lucas Malek. Nice pass by Lucas in 2.40. The gap now 1.6 seconds. Antonelli from Artem 1 and 2. Mart up onto the podium in position 3. The boy from Oslo in Norway for the Charles Leclerc Lennox racing team in third place, just ahead of Pashovic. Kuharczyk, Lucas Malik, there's Rafa in the background. Do not discount the South American. He did this in the first 2 rounds of the championship. He did the same thing in the Champions Cup, just had a slow, careful, steady start and then picked them off one by one. Has he got the speed? We've got 14 laps to find out. Martini Ascensionet, 2-3-2 on the podium at the moment. There is Antonelli. Look at the gap from the Italian back to the Russian. 1.9 seconds, 53.744 from Andrea. Stensonet looks behind, back to Karel Pashovic, right in the middle of the circuit. The old turn 1, it's now turn 2. Pashovic behind Stensonet. Antonelli is walking away with this one. We're keeping one eye on Kamara. He's stuck there in 6th place. Does not seem to have the speed that he's had in the first 3 races of 2021. Martini Stensonet driving superbly. As you see, Karel Pashovic just get lightly up onto 2 wheels. He's close enough to make a move on the Norwegian. Down the inside, not quite close enough though. Martinius goes in very deep. His Speedwear Stilo helmet glistening in the sunshine here. As you look at Rafa Kamara, here comes the boy from Brazil. He's gone by Timac as Mart leaves the door open. And Pashovic now up onto the podium. Kuharczyk just behind. Here comes Rafa. Kamara's gone by the first pole. Kamara lines up the Norwegian, watch them down into the old turn 2, the old back straight, which is now turn 9. Just gently nudges Stensonet out the way. Let's hope, let's pray that did not dislodge the South American's nose cone. The 202 Oak Racing Kart Republic on the charge here this afternoon. Marks from Timac goes in deep, goes defensive. He'll lose time on the exit. There's Tuukka Tappinen trying to close the door. It's getting ragged here as we approach the halfway point. OK final. Round 3, the WSK Supermaster Series for 2021. Timac forces his way by Mart. And you got a glimpse of Igor Shepel, the Czech driver, in position 9 in 2.70. Here's Kamara. He's coming. He's got Pashovic just ahead. Karel Pashovic for the Kiddix Driver Academy. He lines him up. Carroll goes in deep. Nicely driven by the pole. Rafa's just waiting. Rafa will take him. The question is, will he catch Antonelli? There's another one. Rafa Kamara now up onto the podium. He was back in 7th. He started 2nd on the grid. The boy from Brazil is on the charge this afternoon. And let me remind you, his closest contender in the championship, Arvid Lindblad, did not take the start after being crashed out violently in the pre-final earlier this morning. Rafa Kamara picks up another valuable points in the championship. Antonelli is closing in on the championship lead though, and he's closing in on a victory here this afternoon. Antonelli, there's Severukian in 2nd, the Russian. And there is the race leader, Andrea. The 2019, I should say, WSK Supermaster Series champion. That was in OK Junior. As you look at Timac, Kuharczyk, just ahead of Tuukka Tappinen, the 210 Tony Kart, ahead of Mart, who's back in 7th place. Tuukka Tapinen's quick. The Finn down the inside. The Finn takes the pole. Nice move by Tuukka Tapinen. Timo Kuharczyk leaves the door open for the check. Igor Shepil, but closes it on the exit. That's Igor 270. As they go down into turn 2, Timek defensive as Tuukka Tapinen pulls away in the Tony Kart. We approach half race distance. Antonelli, 2.5 seconds over Severukian, but listen to this. Kamara, position 3 is coming. Rafa Kamara, here comes the boy from South America. He's gone purple. 53.510. He's 0.2 of a second faster than the race leader, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, but has he left his run too late? There is Tuukka Tapinen, starting to lose time just a little bit as the race moves into the second half. Chepil goes by Kuharczyk. The gap 2.7 seconds, not the best lap that time from Kamara. He is closing in on the Russian Artem Severukian, the series leader, Rafa Kamara, the DM management driver from Sao Paulo. You know the country, you know the continent, you know he's the boy from. We'll save that for later in the race. The Russian in second looks over his shoulder. Artem Severukian for Joachim Ward's Ward Racing Team, the Vortex Power Tony Kart. He's getting nervous, he's Artem. Rafa's got the speed. Rafa has come from a mile back. Rafa is now on the back of the 245 Tony Kart. 215 Tony Kart, I should say. There's another move. Rafa up to second place. Severukian back to third. You got a glimpse of Christian Hose, abandoned Sauber, Kart Republic in the background. He has retired along with Artem's teammate, Victoria Blokina. Brando is out and Luca Griggs. He's the fourth retirement of the OK final here this afternoon. Antonelli, the gap is 3 seconds, not to Artem. He's back to Rafa. Here he comes as we update the virtual championship for you. 275 points to Rafa Kamara, 196 to Antonelli. The series to be decided at the center of the karting universe, South Garda on April the 25th. And of course, in 2 weeks' time, we kick off the 2021 WSK Euro Series, also at Lonato. We look forward to seeing you then. And of course, we'll bring you all the action live on wsk.it if, unfortunately, in your own homes, in your own country, somewhere around the world. Kamara, another fastest lap, 53.49 versus 53.7. He cuts 0.3 of a second. There's the confirmation at the bottom left of your screen. Antonelli, though, 2.8 seconds. That's a huge margin with just 6 laps to go. Kamara won the WSK Champions Cup. He won the first round of the WSK Supermaster Series. He finished second to Arvid. As you look at Karel Pashovic and Lucas Malik, almost going wheel to wheel. Karel 247 for the Kiddix Driver Academy. Lucas Malik just behind, and Nicolette Zoloff for DPK Racing. The Kart Republic's backed by Fernando Alonso himself. They look superb, and they're quick as they run inside the top 10. Down into turn 1, and they're now joined by Rafa Modenese and Emo Fittipaldi as well. Now less than 6 laps remaining. Another fastest lap from Rafa. 53.47, 53.69 for Antonelli. He's taking tenths out of the Italian, but he's a long way back. I'd suggest to you too far back as Tuukka Tapinen goes through. Shepil, the Fernando Alonso back Kart Republics. Shepil, Malik, Zoloff, Pashovic, Modenese and Emo Fittipaldi round out the 10. Christian Bertucca going through ahead of Ricardo Gracia and Ruben Moya. Another fastest lap, 53.4, another 2/10. The gap down to 2.3 seconds. It's not enough. It is not enough. Antonelli, the 2019 Junior WSK Supermaster Series champion. following in the footsteps of the likes of Nicholas Nielsen, who won the inaugural title. It was KF3 back then. It was in 2010. Antonio Fuoco, the Ferrari Formula One test driver and GT racer. He won it 2011. Callum Eilert won it in 2012. Alessio Lorandi a year later. Enna Mahmed, Clement Novalak. The mighty Moroccan Super Semi Taufik, who won the 16 title. Andrea Rosso, Gabriele Mini. Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Last year it was Arvid Lindblad. Both Arvid and Andrea senior OK category, but only one of them is on the track here this afternoon. Nikola Zoloff gets a really good look at the back of Lucas Malek. Rafa Kamara, the gap is down to 2.1 seconds. He won't do it. He's driven brilliantly, but he missed the start. He was back to 7th. Let's give some credit to Andrea Kimi Antonelli. It's a Kart Republic 1-2. The Tony Karts in 3 and 4. There's Sheffield, and there's the blue and yellow Fernando Alonso backed Kart Republics. Spina, Il Siciliano, now up into 10th place. Good recovery from Alfio as Andrea comes across to get the 2 laps to go sign. Alfio qualified way down the field. They got the wrong gearing on the kart. He had an accident. He didn't start the warm-up yesterday with something as simple as a fouled spark plug, but he's fought back. He's driven well. Alfio Spinner in 10th place. Just ahead of Pashovic, Kuharczyk, Pirtilati, Joseph Turney and Luigi Coluccio from grid 30, now into 15th place in the Cosmic. Good drive from Luigi. As Antonelli goes through with 1.5 laps remaining, it will be a Kart Republic victory here this afternoon, be assured. The OK final, round 3 of the Supermaster Series for Argenti Motorsport. A brilliant drive. He'll get the last lap board next time around. The inside rear off the deck as he accelerates 134 k's an hour. Kamara in the background. And now Antonelli extends the gap. It's going the other way. Kamada will not catch him. Andrea Kimi Antonelli with 1 lap to go. We'll call it now. He will win here this afternoon, round 3 of the WSK Supermaster Series. A faultless, perfect drive from pole position. Races up the old back straight. The old turn 2, now it's turn 9. The right-hander, one of the few parts of the old circuit that still exists. Just faultless. The boy from Bologna, the Italian in the Miami-powered Kart Republic. Just 1 corner to go. The checkered flag is about to wave. Andrea Kimi Antonelli takes the victory in round 3 of the WSK Supermaster Series. A fantastic drive to take the win over the series leader from Brazil, Rafa Kamara Tuka Tappinen. The top Tony Kart, the Finn, the final step of the podium in 3rd place. Severukian misses 3rd by just 0.3 of a second. Comes home ahead of Igor Shepil, Lucas Malek, Zoloff, Montanese, Fittipaldi, and Alfio Spinner ahead of his teammate Joseph Turney in 10th place. Take nothing away from Andrea Kimi Antonelli. A brilliant, perfect, faultless drive. He wins the first of our 4 finals this afternoon. Antonelli with the victory. And Kamada 2nd place for the 2nd race in a row. Extends his series lead. It's a KR 1-2. And Tuka Tappinen, the Tony Kart. Great drive from the Finn on the podium in 3rd place. So with that, Rafa Kamada 275 points ahead of Antonelli 196 going into the final round of the championship on the 25th of April at South Garda Karting, Lonato. And with that podium, 3rd place here today, 3rd place in the series, Tuka Tappinen, 147 points, 2 points ahead of Arvid. who will need one almighty miracle. Let's face it, the battle is now between Kamara and Antonelli for his title for 2021. Antonelli takes the victory from Kamara and Tuukka Tappinen from Finland on the podium in third. Stay with us on WSK.IT, the podium presentation for the OK final live in just a moment. The podium for the first final of the afternoon. It was a nail-biting race, and you cannot say we don't have a deserving victor here in the sunshine this afternoon. In third place, though, we invite to the third step of the podium for the Tony Kart Racing team from Finland, Tuukka Tappinen. Second place, he extends his lead in the championship. The boy from Brazil, Rafa Kamara. A faultless, perfect drive for the Kart Republic Italian driver, the winner of round 3 of the WSK Supermaster Series, Andrea Kimi Antonelli. The national anthem of Italia. The podium for the OK final here this afternoon. Tuukka Tappinen in third place, Rafa Kamara in second, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli takes the win here this afternoon.